Ladies and gentlemen, hello. Last week, I spoke about Sir Keir Starmer's plan to sign the UK's armed forces and security services over to Brussels as part of EU military unification. This week is an important update. This week, we also celebrate our freedoms gifted to us 80 years ago, and remember that Churchill would not appease the fascist Nazi dictator, but instead chose to fight. Churchill and Clement Attlee were opposed to us being in the EU. In fact, Lord Attlee said it was a dictatorship of bureaucrats. And he was right. Labour's EU Defence Pact is actually what Theresa May tried to slip through the back door in the backstop. And the EU has already admitted that fact. Don't you find it strange that Labour is on the same page as Tory May? As the retired head of MI6, Sir Richard Dearlove, said, and I quote, "You cannot be in one part of Defence and Security Union and not be in all of it," end quote. Starmer's signing is the start of the formal process into EU Defence and Security Union. The government will have to explain or deny there's no impact on sovereignty, because the EU's ambitions in Defence Union are that they want everything. The reality is we will end up being a rule taker. David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary who recently released a video on X, and he describes European security as British security. The EU-UK security partnership that he speaks of is part of EU military unification, no matter how he dresses it up. It's known as PESCO, or Permanent Structured Cooperation. PESCO was founded in 2017, and although voluntary to join, it is very much binding. In addition, a country can't be a member of PESCO without paying into the EDF, or European Defence Fund, also founded in 2017. This fund is said to be used for research and development of future weapons and equipment. In addition to that, PESCO also ties us into CARD, or Coordinated Annual Review on Defence. So a yearly check-up, if you like, with Brussels setting the overall standards and requirements. It really does prove that you can't have one toe in and one toe out of EU military unification. It's fully in or fully out. There is no halfway house. Do you find it strange how much of this infrastructure was founded in 2017, just 1 year after the Brexit referendum? Why is the Labour government so keen for us to be a part of it? And where's NATO in all of this? Considering the government has recently increased defence spending to 2.5% of GDP. It is expected that NATO and the EU Defence and Security Pact will complement each other, with NATO taking on the major deployments and the EU Pact looking after the more domestic issues. But the UK would in effect be playing both sides. So how do we do that when we're not a member of the EU? Moreover, how do we afford both? Wellington once stated that timing is everything. And right now, we've just commemorated the VE80. And no one can say that the British military didn't do the country proud. As always, it was a display of pomp and ceremony to the world, stating professionalism, pride and military history, detailing how this nation stood alone with the Commonwealth during the first half of World War II. What will happen in the future when we conduct celebrations and commemoration under the watchful eye of Brussels? Secondly, the First Sea Lord stepped down from his role this week. Could it be because he isn't in agreement with the upcoming defence review on the 19th of May? And now, of course, Lammy speaking out on defence and security, making it sound all nice and cosy. This is the same guy that negotiated the surrender of the Chagos Islands, don't forget. Starmer recently stated he wants to fix and rebuild our military into something we can all be proud of. Of course, he's going to rely on his mates in the EU to do that. And so when he says we, he really means the EU. In conclusion, I need to inquire from yourselves the mood of the public when it comes to our autonomy. Autonomy in defence and security is absolutely critical. There's no sovereignty at all without sovereignty in defence and security. Do you think we should carry on as we always have done? Or do you think we should relinquish the sovereignty and reputation of our armed forces to Brussels? I'm asking for you to be brave and stand for what you believe in. Even if you stand alone amongst your peers, because to remain silent is to give consent. Our military must be front and centre of future debate, or everything else without our military is irrelevant. You must all stand strong and say firmly, no, no, no to your MP. God save the King from Parliament's silence. Thank you.